Welcome everyone. This is the 2020 August 5th Diagnostics Working Group meeting. We are going to be discussing the items that were flagged to the diagnostics agenda. But first, does anyone have any announcements to make? Welcome everyone. This is the
related to the discussion stuff. We're going to be
okay. So moving to the issues. The first one is expand the scope of deep dive meetings. So I suggested that we could start discussing other items on the deep dive meetings because we covered almost everything on the user journey side, and there are some other items that we could be discussing. Stephen suggested one a few weeks ago, and since then, while triaging the stale issues, I also found some that we could be discussing. So I added the deep dive agenda to all the items I believed we could be discussing. And yeah, so that's the suggestion. We can rotate between those topics, or we can first finish the user journeys and then jump onto the next. That's up to the working group. I don't personally have any preferences. I don't know. I know Stephen suggested we discuss one of the items. I don't remember which one, and we could discuss that next week, for example. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm good with whatever we want to do.
Okay. I might be having audio issues then. I think I'm not hearing the others. Let me... Can someone talk? Just to check my speaker. Anyone? Okay, I'm having technical problems. I'm gonna make Stephen the host. I'm gonna sign out and join again. Okay, I'm not sure if I fixed the problem. Can someone talk?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello?
Okay, I can hear you.
Cool.
Okay, so let me share my screen again. So do you all agree on expanding the scope? And what do you think? Do you think we should finish the user journeys first, or we can jump into other topics next week?
I'm happy either way.
Okay, so let's discuss on the meeting issue next time the bot opens it, and we can decide before the meeting or during the start of the meeting what we are going to be discussing next week. Next item, continue unified hooks discussion. I think that was created by Stephen, yes?
Yeah. So related to that, I'm starting another 3-month contract to work on the Diagnostics Channel stuff, which is going to overlap a bunch with this. So I'm going to try and continue to have that discussion. And going to open an issue, hopefully today, kind of laying out my plans, the Diagnostics Channel work.
Sorry, what is Diagnostics Channel?
So like several years back, there was some effort from Microsoft folks to make this basically generic data fire hose that like everything everywhere could just send labeled data, like give something like a channel name, saying like this is HTTP request, and then a bag of data that you could take that and pull out whatever you need from it. So like in HTTP, you might have like what the URL is, like all that sort of stuff it's trying to request. It'd just be like a general data fire hose. Their original prototype had some design issues that so there's a lot of performance concerns around it. So I'm trying to redesign it in a way that we can still have the fire hose aspect of it. We can use it fairly liberally, but without quite so much overhead when it's not in use.
That sounds cool. Any difference between that and the Cohen Trace Events API?
It overlaps a bit. Open tracing tries to be more structural. So it's more specifically describing like this is the start of a call, this is the end of a call, those sorts of things. Whereas this is it's more like if you've used the debug module in userland, you just create a debug logger with a name, and then you can like filter on that name. You can just put log messages anywhere. They could do anything.
And I assume the idea is to be able to start getting data from these channels by enabling and disabling them at runtime. Because I think the debug module is only at startup time, although I'm not sure.
Yeah, so the idea is it's a sort of like publish subscribe system that's you just register subscribers for a particular name, or like you're basically just looking for some sort of identifier. You might look for like I want anything related to HTTP, and then like within HTTP internals, or like if you were looking like this could also be like user-facing APIs, so like user-line modules could use it as well potentially. So the idea is just that like you could just give each thing you're trying to each thing you're trying to send data about, just give it its own name, and then you can have something else listen to that name, and if you're listening, then it actually will construct and produce this data.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's something that the project will benefit a lot with. And if you want, we can also discuss it in a deep dive once you have something more concrete, or even if you want to bounce ideas before having something more concrete.
Yeah. I think it would be a good topic for like nearest future deep dive, just to sort of get the rest of the diagnostics group kind of on the same page about like what I'm trying to do with it and what the benefits are.
Do you think we should keep on the normal agenda, or can we keep only on the deep dive for now?
Probably just move it to the deep dive.
Okay. If you want to discuss it on the normal meetings, feel free to re-add the label.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on this topic?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay. The next one, discuss Node.js contributor survey. So if I'm not mistaken, this was added on the agenda by Jurish.
Yeah. We discussed that last time. I'm not sure if there was a reason why we kept it on the agenda.
Okay, I'm gonna leave a comment here then, and Jurish can decide if we should keep or not. If we should, we can discuss it next meeting, but since he's not here today, I suggest we skip it.
Yeah, I don't really have much contact to talk about it.
Okay, next topic. Discuss usage and support of eBPF. I think we agreed to remove this one from the agenda. Maybe we just forgot. I don't have anything on this item. Do anyone have anything?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna remove it then. It's also flagged for the deep dive. We still have to do a deep dive on this to check if our user journeys, which ones we can use PPF one, but for the normal meeting we don't need it anymore. Okay. So next item, reviving zones proposal. This was presented in the last DC39 meeting. I'm not sure if you want to give an update on that.
Yes, we have presented this proposal on this item, and we don't have any progress on the stage of the T39 process. So the main issue is focused on the dynamic scoping of the proposal, which the dynamic scoping issue will be brought into the language by this proposal. However, there is we are continuing to bring some attention to the proposal. So we will discuss the dynamic scoping issue of the proposal in the next few weeks in Digital 9 critical. So I'm sure that there is no there will be no feasible actions in diagnostic group on this item. So I suggest we can remove this item from the agenda.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm gonna remove from the agenda then. And when is the incubator call? I would like to join that.
The incubator call will be held for every week, but the topic on the incubator call will be differing. So until we find a solid topic of the proposal, we will hold the incubator call. If you are interested, I can add you to the stakeholders, so you can be notified if there is any updates.
Yes, I would be, like to be a stakeholder.
Yeah, I can share the link to the chat, and so that you can see the agenda.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you. Okay, so anything else on the zones proposal? All right, so moving to the next one, COVID-19 and working group sittings. So this one is on the agenda just to, as a check, if everyone is okay with the current frequency of the meetings and the current time, etc.
Yeah, nothing changed on my end.
Yeah, nothing changed on my end too. So I think we can remove this from the agenda now. And if something changes, someone can reopen it. It's probably easier than always having it on the agenda. Anyone opposes to that? Okay, I'm gonna close the issue later then. Improving automated remote connections via inspector protocol. So I have a command line utility that I wrote to resolve this issue. I didn't prepare to present today, so I think we can skip it today, unless anyone else wants to say anything about it. I'm gonna prepare something for the next meeting, so I probably have more to discuss then. Okay, and the last one is async hooks, stable API tracking issue. Stephen, do you have any updates on that?
Not too much. Yeah, there was like an issue with Gulp in Node 12. They're using like some super outdated dependency. That there's like some async hooks related stuff that got back recorded at some point and apparently broke Gulp. I think we've kind of come to the consensus that it shouldn't block further backporting of stuff because like what they're using is like just so extremely out of date. Apparently, Miles had to fix PR open somewhere.
Okay. Should we discuss this further as to decide what we need to do to get to a stable API? Not necessarily on this meeting, but we have this item. Lately it's been more a async hooks update than a async hooks stable progress.
Yeah, I've been treating it basically just as a progress update. Personally, I don't see any path to async hooks itself ever being stable. Just because like the current design, like it exposes the like internal handles, things like that, which should never really be exposed. So from my perspective, like it is the internals underlying the things people should actually use, like async local storage. I think ideally we should eventually be able to deprecate it as an exposed thing.
Deprecate, you said?
Eventually, whenever whatever needs exist for it are served by other APIs, we should eventually be able to deprecate it and stop exposing it directly.
Yeah, I think some use cases still are not accomplished only with basic local storage, and we would probably get pushback if we try to remove before covering those use cases.
Yeah, I don't think we're in a position that we can deprecate it now, but I think that's the path that we should move forward with, is like just continue trying to identify like what are the actual use cases for it and how can we serve that better with a proper API that doesn't expose the term.
I agree. Anything else on this topic?
think that's it.
Okay, so that's it for today's agenda. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to discuss today? Okay, so we can finish early today. See y'all next week. Bye bye.
Bye.